and round 20 is when you have to pay attention because your opponent can send Moabs and PFPs against you. And I'm gonna say this right now, Bloon Chippers.
Just stop! Just stop it! Stop! No! Just stop!
What is up everybody, Haran here, bringing you guys a brand new series. So for this series, it's basically a strategy guide for each map in Bloons BTD Battles Mobile. So when I say strategy guide, I think that it should be able to help most new players, and even the advanced players might learn a few things here and there. The information that's given in this video will basically cover a lot of basic information, such as which towers to choose, when to place those towers, where to place those towers, why certain towers are good against certain rushes, and the recommended income. Now I could go over some more advanced techniques, but seeing as this series is targeted to players who are beginners, I don't see why I should go over the more complicated things. Now, these videos won't make anyone become a perfect player. I highly doubt that it will. If it does, then I will be amazed, but I highly doubt that these videos will make anyone a perfect player. But they should give enough information so that you guys can improve your game quite a bit. Keep in mind that these videos are in regular assault mode, not club battles or anything like that. And the loadouts that I choose will only consist of 3 towers. I will not be using the random 4th tower in this video, because if I use a random 4th tower and my 4th tower is better than the 4th tower that you get, then I have the advantage over you, and that's not really fair. So I'm just going to use 3 towers, and if you choose to get a 4th tower and it's good, then good for you. You'll play even better than I played in this video. Now, for this video, I will be going over one of the most difficult maps of the game, Indoor Pools. Now, for this map, I have 3 specific loadouts that I will use. All 3 loadouts include the Dart Monkey and the Banana Farm, but the 3rd tower, for the 3rd tower, you can pick any tower that can help in defending lead bloons, region ceramics, specifically region ceramics and region rainbows, and Moabs. So in this video, the 3rd towers that I choose are Bloon Chipper, Boomerang Thrower, and the Sniper Monkey. I won't be going over balloon income in this video, unfortunately. As I said, I have chosen banana farms on all 3 loadouts, and if you choose to go balloon income, go right ahead. I mean, balloon income is actually harder to master than farms on most maps, especially this one, because on indoor pools, you really have to play balloon income perfectly in order for it to work. But if you want to use it, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. And if your opponent goes balloon income against you, as you will see later on in this video, all my opponents will use farms as well. If your opponent goes balloon income against you, your game style won't change that much, but it'll change. You have to adjust a little bit here and there. I won't be going over that in this video, but hopefully you can figure that out on your own. So let's get started. So from rounds 1 through 9, no matter which strategy that you use of mine, it doesn't matter, because from rounds 1 through 9, you won't be using the 3rd tower, whether it's Bloon Chipper, Boomerang, or Sniper. For the first 9 rounds, you will only be using the Dart Monkey and the Banana Farm. So just follow what I'm doing for the first 9 rounds, no matter which strategy you're using. So by the end of round 1, you should have 1 Dart Monkey that is not upgraded, and 1 banana farm that's upgraded to 1-0. 1-0 means 1 upgrade on the left and 0 upgrades on the right. Now when it's round 2, get up a second 0-0 Dart Monkey right away at about the same spot that I put them. It doesn't have to, the towers don't have to be placed exactly where I put them, but just put them in the general area, because I find that those areas are the best places to put the Dart Monkey. So when it's round 3, upgrade 1 of the Dart Monkeys to 0-3, which means 0 upgrades to the left and 3 upgrades to the right. So upgrade 1 of them to 0-3, and you should be able to defend just fine. When round 4 comes, your opponents might be able to send, well, they will be able to, but they might send pink bloons at you. And to defend pink bloons, what you have to do is get up 2, upgrade both of your Dart Monkeys to 0-3, and then you should be able to defend pinks pretty fine. I mean, you really won't need much else. Now as you can see, my opponent also got up the same defense that I did, so he won't really need that many more towers, so I just decided to stop. Meanwhile, my opponent is still rushing me, And even though I will lose a few lives here and there, sending a lot of pink balloons is going to damage your income, so don't send too many. Now around round 5, you should be able to afford another banana farm, so get up another 1-0 banana farm. Now you could upgrade your former banana farm, your original banana farm, to 2-0. It doesn't really matter which one you do. See, my opponent upgraded it to 2-0 while I got a second 1-0. It honestly doesn't matter too much which one you do, because both of them have slight advantages and slight disadvantages. So when it's round 6, you can send black balloons at your opponent, and to defend black balloons, I recommend getting up a third 0-3 dart monkey, so you should have 3 of them like my opponent has. But I found that just upgrading to 0-2, it should actually help defend against the blacks pretty well. See, I only have a 0-2 and 2 0-3s, and that 0-2 is helping to defend the black balloons pretty fine. I only lost a few lives here and there, not a big deal. But around round 7, you should also be able to upgrade one of your farms, so you have one 2-0 farm and one 1-0 farm. That's about the recommended income that you should have by round 8. You shouldn't have any less, but don't get any more, because if you get too greedy, you will die soon, and this is why. On round 8, yellow balloons can come out, and to defend against yellow balloons successfully, what you have to do is to get up another 0-3 dart monkey. So as you can see, my opponent has 4 total 0-3 dart monkeys now, and that's the amount that you need to defend against yellow balloons. And as you can see, I got up that 4th 0-3 dart monkey against my opponent's yellow balloons, and they defended pretty fine. I don't recommend a spike-up-pole, but if you want to get a spike-up-pole instead, go right ahead. So remember what I said about not being too greedy? Now here's what happens if you're too greedy. See, my opponent is getting up quite a bit of farms, and that's actually a lot of farms. So my opponent actually had to use their battle energy to defend the black balloons, which is bad, because as soon as he runs out of battle energy, that means that the battle energy tower boost is on cooldown, so he can't use it until another about 20 seconds, so he has to wait, and therefore I can take major advantage of him. So what I can do is sell one of my farms and bloon boost regen yellows, and because my opponent can't use his tower boost because it's on cooldown, he will die to these regen yellows. So that's why you shouldn't depend on tower boost to defend anything around round 8, and you shouldn't be too greedy because you will probably die early. So after round 8, this is where the strategy starts to vary a little bit. See, okay, so now I'm going to show you the Bloon Chipper strategy, which is one of the 3 strategies that I will show you. So for the Bloon Chipper, I get it up by round 10 to defend against any lead balloons that my opponent might send against me. So to defend against lead balloons, I have to have the Bloon Chipper upgraded to 2-0, which I do get right there, and that 2-0 upgrade will allow your Bloon Chipper to pop lead balloons with ease. But the Bloon Chipper cannot pop camo lead balloons, so I have to get up a Juggernaut on the Dart Monkey too anyway. And what I do, I will end up selling my Bloon Chipper to afford a Juggernaut. And I do this because when I have a Juggernaut, I can defend leads no problem. So I don't need a 2-0 Bloon Chipper anymore. But I still need Bloon Chipper, so I will get up a 0-0 Bloon Chipper instead. And that 0-0 Bloon Chipper will help defend against any regen rainbows that against me. Now as you can see, my opponent didn't get up his lead popping power in time, and he got down to 1 life because of camo lead balloons. And because of that, I will end up sending a huge rush against my opponent, which will kill him. So if you notice that your opponent uses battle energy tower boost, then as soon as that battle energy tower boost runs out and you notice that your opponent is vulnerable to a rush, then what you do is sell your farms, balloon boost, and then you can send a major attack at your opponent, and your opponent won't be able to defend that rush because his battle energy is on cooldown. But what if your opponent decides to rush you before you can rush your opponent? So you see, in this situation, I still get up some more 2-0 boomerangs to help defend against regen leads and regen ceramics, because one Juggernaut won't be able to handle against ceramics properly, and a 2-0 Bloon Chipper is really good at defending against ceramics. So on round 15, from round 13 to round 15, those are extremely deadly times because your opponent can send regen leads, regen zebras, regen rainbows, and regen ceramics all layered on top of each other. And And as you can see, my opponent is sending regen Zeds, and if you saw there, a regen ceramic, but the bloon chippers are absolutely demolishing them. This is why the bloon chippers are so good at defending regen bloons. See, all those lead bloons are gone, and then he's sending some regen zebras, and then he's sending some more regen zebras and some regen rainbows. Unfortunately, bloon chippers aren't great against regen rainbows on their own, so I do have to use my battle energy there. They're good against zebras, Zeds, and ceramics, but they're not great against rainbows. They need more support than that. But luckily, my opponent used battle energy there too. And as I told you, if your opponent uses battle energy, then his tower boost is on cooldown, and therefore you can bloon boost a rush against your opponent, and that rush will defeat your opponent. I'm sorry there was lag there, not much I can do about it. But as I said, if you rush right after your opponent uses battle energy, he can't use his battle energy again, so that will end up killing your opponent, unless your opponent pulls off a miraculous defense, which can happen from time to time. But for the most part, if you are able to send a good rush at your opponent after your opponent uses battle energy and you bloon boost it, then you should win most of the time. But what happens if nobody decides to rush and you end up going sort of later game? And when I say later game, I mean round 18, round 20. Because on interpulse, I really wouldn't recommend going farther than round 21, because you'll really struggle against the natural bloon. So I recommend rush before round 20 or sometime around there. But if none of you decide to rush from round 13 to round 17, then round 18 comes, and round 18 is when Moabs come out. Now, right now I want you to look at my farms. See how I have two 2-0 farms and then a 1-0 farm? You know, that's what I really recommend. You shouldn't get too much higher than that. And look, if you didn't notice, I sent some regular zebras against my opponent, hoping to make my opponent use his battle energy, which he did. And because he used his battle energy, I can send a bloon boost rush right after that, but he rushes me with the Moab too, and I had to use my tower boost battle energy to defend that. But remember, my opponent used his tower boost, so I am able to just use my bloon boost right back at him and send a huge regen rainbow rush, which will end up killing my opponent. So this is a huge part about battle energy, because if your opponent uses tower boost, right as soon as his tower boost runs out, then you just balloon boost a huge rush at him, and he will really struggle because he doesn't have tower boost to counter that. However, the really good opponents, they know right after they use battle energy, they know that you're gonna rush them. So what they do is they try to rush you back. So as you notice, my opponent sent a Moab back at me right after he uses battle energy, but I actually defended that Moab, and I ended up rushing my opponent and killing him. Here's another example of me going sort of late game, as in past round 17. Because past round 17 on interpulse, that's technically pretty late game. And if you notice my farms again, I only have two 2-0 farms and one 1-0 farm. I really recommend not going more than that. If you want to go more than that, go ahead, I'm not going to stop you. But I feel like if you go more than that, then you're going to be too greedy, and you might not have enough money to defend a rush your opponent sends against you. So as you notice, I'm getting up a lot of bloon chippers now, and yeah, I'm still on the bloon chipper part. So I'm getting up a lot of bloon chippers because the bloon chippers are really good at defending against ceramics, and that's pretty big. So because ceramics are pretty huge, I'm getting up a lot of 2-0 bloon chippers basically all around the map. But round 18 and round 20 is when you have to pay attention, because your opponent can send Moabs and PFPs against you. And I'm going to say this right now, bloon chippers on interpulse are not good at defending against Moabs or BFBs, because if you want to use the ability, it's really expensive and you have to micro really fast. If you want to get the left sided upgrade to suck in Moabs, it costs a lot of money too. So the bloon chippers are really just for ceramics, zebras, and Zeds, not really for anything else. But to defend against Moabs and BFBs, you might be wondering how to defend that. That is solely dependent on the Super Monkey fan club, the 04 Dart Monkey upgrade. So as you can see, I have a lot of Dart Monkeys getting just ready to upgrade them to Super Monkey fan club just in case I need it, and I have a lot of bloon chippers around the map to defend against any ceramic bloons. So I send a BFB against my opponent, and let's see what my opponent does to help beat that opponent. So he's losing lives to the natural bloons, and that's another warning. The natural bloons are pretty deadly at this time of intervals, so you really don't want to mess with the natural bloons. And as you can see, he got a Super Monkey fan club, and as I said, a Super Monkey fan club perfectly defended that rush. But notice, he used his battle energy right away. So what I do, I sell my farms, and then I attempt to bloon boost a huge rush, just because he just used his battle energy. But this is another warning. It doesn't always work. Like I said earlier, it doesn't always work. And even though he didn't have his tower boost back in time, he had the Super Monkey fan club ready, and that absolutely obliterated my rush, even though he didn't have tower boost and I bloon boosted. So now I'm in a really sticky situation, because I still have a lot of bloon troopers and tower monkeys, and that will defend the natural bloons easily. But if my opponent sends a rush, which he sends right now, I'm going to really struggle against that. So what I did, I just can't defend. I just failed to defend that rush, and I died. So that does happen once in a while. See, even if you time the bloon boost and tower boost correctly, you can still lose. So I still recommend using bloon boost right after your opponent tower boost, but still there are times that it doesn't work, and that's just showing that not every single strategy is flawless. So that's basically the whole thing about the bloon trooper, and let's move on to the sniper. So for the sniper, as I said earlier, from round 1 through 9 do basically the exact same thing as they did for the bloon trooper. But as you can see, I get up a 1-0, well, I actually got up a 1-1, but you need a 1-0 sniper, preferably targeted on strong, and that will defend any lead bloons that your opponent might send against you. So the sniper is to defend leads, but the sniper is also really good at defending regen rainbows. I'm not sure if you knew that from my how to defend regen rainbow series, but the sniper is actually good at defending regen rainbows. Sorry, I know there was a little bit of lag there, but that's just the way it is. As you can see, my opponent sold a farm, and that means that he's gonna rush me. So what I did, I sold both my farms too, and I got up a 2-3 sniper. Now I don't think that I had to use my tower boost, but I used it anyway just to be safe. And because I used my tower boost, I know that I'm vulnerable to any counter attack that my opponent might send against me using bloon boost. So what do? As soon as my battle energy runs out, I just send a huge rush back at my opponent before my opponent can rush against me, and I defeat my opponent before my opponent can send a secondary rush against me. Sorry, I know there was a lot of lag in that video clip. I can't do anything about it right now. I apologize. Surprisingly, the rush in the last clip was actually a pretty small rush. So what happens if your opponent decides to go completely all out against you, sending a huge mixture of leads, rainbows, zebras, and ceramics? Now in that case, you have to get up a juggernaut ready. So as you can see, I'm saving up a lot of money. Well, I'm saving up some money, getting ready to upgrade a juggernaut. Now my sniper is upgraded to 2-3, and as you can see, that's defending the lead bloons just fine. But as soon as ceramics and rainbows come out, it's gonna struggle for a lot. So I have to get up that juggernaut ready. I have enough money for it, but I don't get it up yet. I get it now. And even with the juggernaut and the sniper, I have to use my battle energy because that's a lot of bloons. So just, feel free to use your battle energy. I don't recommend using it too often, but to use it if you're gonna die. And because my opponent knows that I use my battle energy, I just bloon boost right back at my opponent, because if I did not bloon boost a huge rush against my opponent could just bloon boost against me, and I would die because I would have no tower boost battle energy left. So you just have to know when to use the bloon boost and the tower boost, because those are key parts of Bloons BTD Battles Mobile. But what happens if none of you decide to rush and it goes pretty late game? Now, as you can see, I got up 3-2-0 farms. That's actually over what I need, but I got really greedy in this game. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did so anyway. But as I said, if you're past round 17, then you have to worry about Moabs. Now for Moabs, the sniper actually won't do that well. So if your opponent sends a Moab against you, what I recommend is actually sell the sniper. Sell the 2-3 sniper and get up a 1-2 sniper instead, because the 1-2 sniper will help defend against leads or camel leads. Now as you can see, the sniper isn't really doing much against the Moab. So what you need to defend against Moabs and BFBs is what I got there, the Super Monkey Fan Club. And once again, I use my tower boost, and to prevent my opponent rushing me, I have to bloon boost a rush back at my opponent, and I kill him. So once again, bloon boost and tower boost are key aspects of the game. I recommend not using tower boost too often, but bloon boost is something that you really should look into. Because I've been emphasizing bloon boost and battle energy so much in this game, I want to show you a really good example of it. Now as you can see here, I just send a pretty small set of regen zebras, and that forces my opponent to use his tower boost. And because he uses his tower boost, he has to wait about another 30 seconds before he can use it again, and I will use that to my advantage. So because he can't use his tower boost once again, I end up sending a balloon boosted bigger rush, that consists of leads and zebras, and my opponent will not be able to defend against that rush because he has no tower boost to counter against my balloon boost. Anyway, that's really all I have for the sniper, so let's move on to the last tower, the Boomerang. So once again, from rounds 1 through 9, no matter which strategy you're using that's from this video, do the same thing from rounds 1 through 9. But in round 10, get up a 0-2 Boomerang and target it on strong to defend against lead balloons. Now as you notice, I tried to use balloon boost against my opponent, but I timed it incorrectly and it didn't work. So that's why timing balloon boost is pretty important. I used balloon boost when my opponent still had tower boost, so he easily countered that. But anyway, as I was saying, get up a 0-2 Boomerang on round 10 to defend against lead balloons. But by round 13, you should have a 3-0 Boomerang, and you should have your farms ready to sell to be able to afford a 4-0 Boomerang or a Glaive Lord. Because once you have a Glaive Lord, those can defend against region balloons really well. But I noticed my opponent used his tower boost, right? So I just sell all my farms getting ready to send a rush against my opponent. But as you notice, he sold his farms too, but it doesn't look like he's sending any rush against me. So what do I do? I send a rush against him, and I bloon boost it, and even with his tower boost, he dies. So that's another thing. So tower boost doesn't always work against balloon boost. Sometimes tower boost is better than balloon boost, sometimes balloon boost is better than tower boost. Every game is different. You can't expect any strategy to work 100% of the time. So here's another clip that I want to show you. Now first of all, let me make it clear that the spot that I put the Boomerang in, I actually would not recommend that spot. I recommend the Boomerang spot that I used in the last clip, which was on the top right. So you want to put it closer to the entrance of the rush area. So I think my opponent has Tag Shitter, and it looks like he's going to use Tag Shitter as his main source of region rainbow popping power. So what do? I take advantage of that. So what I do is I try to send some region zebras, and that forces him to use his Blade Maelstrom, and he ends up selling a farm. But the thing about the Blade Maelstrom is that it has a weakness, and you really have to focus on your opponent's weaknesses. So because if you do, then that's going to force your opponent, you're going to set a good rush if you focus on your weaknesses. As you can see, I sent some region zebras, hoping to make my opponent use his Blade Maelstrom, which he ended up doing. But the thing is, I sent some camel zebras under that, and Blade Maelstroms can't defend camos. But unfortunately, somehow, even though I bloon boosted, his Juggernauts and Darmonkeys defended his camel zebras, and he had only 1 life left, and I somehow lost that game. Now, if I just had a few more sets of camel zebras, I might have actually won. But, you know, these things happen. I actually sent a really good rush. I hit the camel balloons under the region balloons. So if he didn't get up a Blade Maelstrom, then he would have died to the region balloons. But if he did, which he did, then a lot of the camel balloons just would have snuck through. So you really have to focus on your opponent's weaknesses. Don't just send the regular rushes like the region zebras, region leads. Don't focus on the regular things. Try things that are out of the box. So as I said, the Glaive Lord and the Boomerang Tower in itself is actually pretty good at defending region zebras. As you can see right there, it defended the region zebras really well. But when it comes to ceramics, the Glaive Lord actually really isn't that good. So to defend against ceramics, you will have to get up a Juggernaut or maybe a few more 0-3 Darmonkeys, something else just to help defend against ceramics. Because a Glaive Lord isn't that great against ceramics. So round 15 is coming out, and it looks like my opponent is going to send me some ceramics. And as you can see, my opponent sends some region leads, and hidden under that are ceramics. And as you can see, the Glaive Lord sucks at ceramics, so I am forced to use my battle energy because of that. And my opponent sold all his farms trying to go all out on region zebras, but the Glaive Lord is super good against region zebras, but the Glaive Lord sucks against region ceramics. So if my opponent just sent ceramics against me instead, I would have lost. But instead, he sent zebras, and that led to my opponent's death. So remember, Glaive Lords are good against zebras, rainbows, and leads, but not against ceramics. So just keep that in mind, and also rush your opponent according to their weaknesses. If my opponent saw my weakness and set ceramics instead of zebras, then I probably would have lost. So just keep that in mind. The boomerang thrower isn't good against ceramics, nor is it good against Moabs or BFBs. So as you can see, my opponent is about to send a Moab against me, which should come out sooner or later. Well, I actually sent a Moab at him first. But to defend against Moabs and BFBs, well, first of all, keep your boomerang, because the boomerang will help against the natural Lebloons that come out, and as you can see, the boomerangs help against the Lebloons that are coming out. But to defend against the Moab itself, use the Super Monkey Fan Club, like I showed there. The Super Monkey Fan Club is super good against Moabs and BFBs, like I stated earlier. And the boomerang, just keep the boomerang there, because it's gonna help defend against any region bloons your opponent might send against me, or any Lebloons that come out. Don't sell it because it does have its uses, even though it's not good against Moabs or ceramics. So that's really all for this video. I know this video was pretty long. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's at least 20 minutes long, and that's pretty long for a strategy guide. And if you're an advanced player and you watch this, you probably notice that this strategy guide is actually really basic. So this 20-minute strategy guide is actually really basic, and if you're a beginner trying to get all these concepts into your mind, you can't force it all into your mind at once. It's like going to school. You can't memorize an entire course in one day. You have to study a little bit each day, and as you practice more and more, like doing homework, as you practice more and more, you will slowly develop the concept, and it'll come natural to you. So if you really want, then you can watch this video again and again, because this video actually contained a lot of information. A lot of information for the beginners, but it contained a lot of information, and I said a lot of little things throughout the video, and those little things are actually really important. But I just couldn't fit everything that I wanted into a short video, because even this beginner video, it's over 20 minutes long, so that's actually really long. So that's really all I have to say. Just keep in mind, this is for Bloons BTD Battles mobile. These strategies won't work on Flash. Well, I mean, they will work on Flash, but they just won't be as effective on Flash. And especially since I mentioned a lot of Bloon boosts and tower boosts, those aren't on Flash. So this is for mobile. This is also not for club arena. This is just for regular battle energy. Regular battle energy mode, and for regular battle arena. So no clubs or anything, just classic rules. And remember, this is for indoor wolves, and I use Dart Monkey farm, and the third tower that I used were Boomerang, Sniper, and Bloon Shipper. So remember that, and just watch the video over again if you don't remember a lot of stuff, because I threw a lot of information at you. And remember, this video won't make you a perfect player, it really won't, but it does supply you a lot of information that is pretty essential to know. And actually, what's probably more helpful than listening to me talk is actually watching the gameplay, because the gameplay helps you practice what you will end up having to do in your game. So that's really all I have to say for now. If you enjoyed this video, comment down below asking for more, because if you really don't want more strategy guides, then I'll stop. But if you want to learn more about how to play Bloons BTD Battles, then I will certainly make more strategy guides for you guys. So watch the video again if you want to understand some things. It might actually take a lot of views. I mean, it might take you 10. You might have to watch it 10 times in total in order to fully understand everything. And I would be surprised if you fully understood everything after just watching it after 10 times. But most of the advanced players already know this stuff. But really, that's all I have to say. So leave a like if you enjoyed, and have an awesome day.